have money to do it. I don't 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 have money to do it.
Say hello to the king of hate and the internet's most favorite lolcow, DarkSydePhil, or DSP. He is an infamous content creator and streamer not known for his exceptional talent, but for his lack of common sense, poor hygiene habits, narcissistic tendencies, and crass humor. In this video, we'll go down the rabbit hole and discuss the ultimate downfall of DSP. DarkSydePhil is a twisted and one of the most hated internet personalities, who has been called out numerous times for his anti-Semitic jokes, trash gameplay, and intolerance to handle criticism. In the past, he had lashed out at his audience many times, banning them from his channel and outright insulting them for leaving negative comments on his streams. But despite all of this, he doesn't hesitate to ask the same audience to pay his taxes and donate money for his living expenses.
They're idiots! I work for Google, I'm smart, I'm a hipster, and we have playtime where we do Pilates, and we push invisible objects, and we meditate, because we're Google, and we're smart, and we're gonna have all this cool thing on YouTube, like paid subscriptions to get rid of ads.
Like, I'm finally get like a breath of relief today. And I'm like, yes, finally I can just move on positively, and that's where I am. I don't care what any of the rest of these idiots say, they're wrong.
His erratic actions have made him notorious in the eyes of the gaming community, while giving trolls a treat of their lifetime. So what is the story of this 2-decade-old self-proclaimed streamer who is constantly on the radar of trolls and haters? Let's find out. Who is DarkSydePhil? DarkSydePhil, or Philip Brunell, was born on April 6, 1982 in Connecticut. He started his YouTube channel somewhere around 2008 and has uploaded almost 70,000 videos since then. He has another vlogging channel named The King of Hate Vlogs, where he regularly uploads daily vlogs.
Alright, hello everybody. Phil and Kat here, and welcome to a special video that we've been planning on working on for a while.
He is one of the most talked about, notorious, and cringe-worthy streamers out there, who owes most of his fame to his bad behavior, bouts of rage during his streams, and victim play. If you search his name on YouTube, you will find hours and hours of video compilations mocking his strange behavior and fumbles. This guy is nothing but a laughingstock for the entire gaming community.
Your $5 is mine forever. Is that I'm able to make the payment that I owe, or the payments that I owe. I'm basically in a situation where everything I've worked for this year is probably not going to be able to happen, in which case that's it. Like, there's nothing else to fall back on, and more than likely the next step would be people will try to start suing me for money, and I will more than likely lose the house.
They're idiots! I work for Google, I'm smart, I'm a hipster, and we have playtime where we do Pilates, and we push invisible objects, and we meditate, because we're Google, and we're smart, and we're gonna have all this cool thing on YouTube, like paid subscriptions to get rid of ads.
Good for you. Miss out on the Borderlands 3 playthrough. That's your loss, not mine. Sucker!
So before he kickstarted his YouTube career, he used to go to gaming tournaments and competitions where he would mostly lose. Honestly speaking, he has spent hours and hours playing games, but he is terrible at them. He doesn't know how to follow basic gaming instructions and resorts to blaming anything he can find for his inability to win, including his controllers, hackers, and even cheaters.
It sucks. It's too chaotic. It's not even fun. Alright, I'm done. That's it. This game's terrible. Act 4 is garbage. It's great until Act 3. And Act 3 is the technical end of the game when the game is supposed to end. And Act 4 was added just to make money. It's garbage. No, the thing is, there's no checkpoint. I'm gonna make a suspend point. Because there's no checkpoint here. It seems like you're in the next part of the game, but there's no checkpoints. Obviously, I don't want to waste my time doing it a million times, so... Oh god, now we're heading to the forest.
He was never good at taking criticism or accepting his defeat during his tournament days. There were numerous incidents during the local tournaments where he lost his cool with players and abused them. This unacceptable and immature behavior earned him the title of the King of Hate. Phil says he received this title because people disagreed with him, but the reality is very different. He himself admitted that he would threaten the players to leave the station and abuse them. While all of this sounds very disturbing, this is not the peak of his extremely problematic behavior. He faced his first ever controversy in 2005 when he participated in EVO, the biggest ever esports championship that focuses mainly on fighting games. There are tournaments for various fighting games in EVO, and Philip entered for a game called Super Street Fighter II Turbo. So a little bit about this game. The version of this game used in the tournament was said to be ported from the arcades and contained numerous issues. Players considered this version to be very inferior and unbalanced, and therefore many high-level players boycotted the tournament. But Philip did not only enter this tournament, but won 4th place. But at what cost? According to him, he took a huge credit card loan to attend EVO. Not only that, he said he spent thousands of dollars in training to prepare himself for the tournament. This 4th position was so costly for DarkSydePhil that he spent the next 5 years just paying off the interest on that loan. While this should have been a facepalm moment for Philip, he acted very proudly, almost as if he had won the tournament against big players. He took the 4th position beneath 3 Japanese players in this tournament. So according to him, he was the only American player to win the game. The guy acted as if he was representing the entire country, which is silly and immature to another level. While this fiasco may not seem like a big deal, Philip's demeanor and outlandish claims did not sit well with the gaming community. In his later videos, he also said that the players who boycotted the game due to issues with the port were unreasonable, and the players who participated should just have practiced more.
But this guy thought he was hot because he beat me and Choi in a game that was like, it's like Neo Geo conversion of Street Fighter or some crap, dude. And he was so proud that he put under as a signature, he's the #1 US ranked Super Turbo player that year.
Many people agree that he is a very sour loser, but winning also did not suit him well. Even after this tournament, when he continued to win a few matches, his angry outbursts, fights, and demeaning attitude towards other members of the gaming community did not stop. Aside from the title the King of Hate, he also earned himself a few enemies. We talked about his anger issues and his self-important behavior, but he also has a very poking nature. Sometime after the 2005 EVO event, Philip started a very nasty feud with Viscant, a legendary Street Fighter who is also an EVO champion. So the feud started when Phil continuously talked trash about Viscant on the internet. He kept doing it for months before Viscant decided that he had had enough, and now it was time to answer back. Viscant himself recalls that he challenged Phil for a money match in EVO, thinking that he would refuse and back out. Because, honestly, Viscant is a legendary player and is far more talented than Phil. And he was right in his thinking because Phil fidgeted after the challenge and made a very strange offer. It's laughable that Phil challenged Viscant to an actual fist fight, and he accepted. While all of this sounds very unbelievable, it happened. Here you can read the whole account in Viscant's own words. Phil definitely would not have expected Viscant to agree to such an insane offer, but he was unaware that Viscant had a little bit of experience in combat and gym fights. So fist fight with a Lolcow wasn't a big deal for him. Documents were drawn, signatures were taken, and there was also a discussion on who was going to referee the match. But Phil suddenly backed out. He actually learned from some East Coast players that Viscant was dead serious about fighting him, and he also knows combat, which made Phil a little shaky. In fact, he called Viscant sometime later and asked him to drop the idea. He even went on to suggest they pretend they're going to fight and make up in front of the crowd, which, of course, Viscant refused. However, the fight never took place. But this and more such events made DarkSydePhil the center of hate and dislike for the entire fighting game community. One problematic aspect of Phil's personality is that he tends to say a lot of trash online about fellow players. But when he's face to face with any of them, he just chickens out. During the 2002 EVO event, he also came face-to-face with Jaha, who's also a West Coast Street Fighter player. He recalls that Phil was playing a money match with some of his friends. He lost the match but did not pay the money to the winning team. At the time of this event, Phil was constantly saying a lot of rude stuff about many players from the gaming community online. Jaha was clearly not pleased with his attitude. So when he left the arcade with his boys, Jaha met him outside and a fight broke out.
This happened twice is because the guy likes to talk a lot on the internet. And the beauty of the fighting game community is that, you can hide behind a screen and talk just like how we have these internet trolls. But with Street Fighter, you have to show up physically to the tournament.
Exactly.
You lost one match, you're going to pay him $10 or $20 because that's the percentage of the matches that he would have lost. Which and, just scared him until he paid the like $10 or whatever in white. And it's funny because he just talks so much on the internet, but when you run into him in person, he's just turns white as a ghost.
Right.
At this point, it was clear that Phil was never liked in the gaming community due to his egoistic, self-important, provoking, and somewhat annoying attitude. He was never good at Street Fighter games, so he did not achieve anything worth noting in this arena. However, the landscape of his life changed with the launch of YouTube in 2005. In 2007, content creators who used to play games actively started uploading gaming-related content in the highly popular Let's Play format. This format was borrowed from the internet forums, where the players would record themselves playing games and top it up with some commentary. To give you a little insight, people at that time would either use inbuilt cards to record their gameplay and commentary directly on the computer, or use separate cameras or microphones. Phil started his YouTube channel in 2007, where he would mostly upload unedited, raw, and completely unfiltered gaming videos. He used to record his gameplay using a simple camera pointing towards the TV and uploading several hours of clips to his channel. And when we say several hours, we actually mean it. His old YouTube channel, DarkSydePhil, contained over 70,000 videos comprised of short 10-minute clips of his gameplay. While he did not instantly become famous, he gained a lot of traction after some time. It is hard to understand why people resonated with him, but his videos used to get thousands of views, with YouTube showing his latest uploads on the first page. His popularity had little to do with his gameplay, as he was terrible at it, and more to do with his cringe commentary. He would constantly laugh oddly, make funny noises, and be very, very loud in general. In fact, he has a goat-like laugh that he does for his audience on command.
There we go, he's gonna blow up. Boom! This car went flying, dude.
There's also a video of him saying that his laugh does not at all sound annoying and is perfectly normal.
Meme that my laugh sounds like ack, ack, ack. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when I laugh, do I say ack, 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 ack? No, I don't. I say
From 2007 to 2010, Phil continued to upload his gaming videos to YouTube. However, the quality and nature of his uploads did not improve even in the slightest. It's also worth mentioning here that Phil was living with his parents during this time and was practically unemployed. His YouTube channel was also not monetized, and he proudly gloated many times that he put so much effort into it for literally no money. Speaking of his unemployment, he has also repeatedly shown his dislike for the corporate sector and said that he's often underpaid. He was also sacked from Best Buy for apparently violating their discount policy. In 2010, he was probably working for a helicopter support company as a customer sales representative, but was laid off due to unknown reasons.
Continuous improvement work at the helicopter company that I actually started to enjoy some of the work I was doing. And then within a year of doing that work, they laid me off.
Interestingly, his father also worked in a managerial position at this same company, but that also couldn't stop the company from sacking Phil. He even said in one of his videos that the company he left was struggling because he wasn't there to help them. Well, okay, Phil, if you say so.
Why don't you let me make them better instead of just being a yes man and then everything falls apart? And that's actually exactly what happened. at that helicopter company I worked for, within a few years of me getting laid off, they went out of business. They split their workforce apart and sent people other places, and some people ended up doing completely other things.
Now, coming back to his YouTube journey, he experienced his first ever roadblock after he established a Google AdSense account to monetize his videos. Since Phil was unemployed, he decided to turn his hobby into an earning opportunity and set up an AdSense account. He also started a food reviewing series on his other blogging channel, The King of Hate HD, where he would just upload videos of himself eating food and making funny and extremely creepy noises. This channel was also monetized under AdSense.
Whoa. Look at that. So it really is like almost like a boat. A chalupa boat.
He must have been generating a good revenue stream considering the amount of views he was getting at that time. Some of his videos were receiving tens of thousands of views. So what went wrong? Well, AdSense pays you money based on your viewership and asks you to put up ads between videos. If viewers click on some ads through your videos, you get paid for that as well. But the thing is, you cannot ask your viewers to click on those ads. To increase his revenue, Phil specifically asked his audience to click on those ads between his videos and help him get paid. This, of course, did not go well with AdSense, and his account got suspended. And since you can't make multiple AdSense accounts, Phil was once again unemployed. The best part about this whole fiasco is he later justified his actions, saying that YouTube canceled his account because he was getting tremendous views. He said that his shower video where he was reviewing some soap got so many views that YouTube feared that they would have to pay him a huge amount. This is classic Phil. This guy can blame his misery on literally anything.
To think that I was cheating with the AdSense program, and they contacted me and said, "We're kicking you out of the AdSense program on this channel because we suspect that you're sitting there clicking on the video to get ad revenue because you made so much in one day." And I was like, I didn't. It was the viewers. The viewers went nuts for this crazy video and probably went over and went, "Oh, I want to support Phil, the underdog. He just lost his job. Let's all click on the ads or whatever," which you're not supposed to do. You're not supposed to do that on YouTube. No, you're not supposed to ever try to have someone click on ads or anything. It's supposed to be of their own free will. So YouTube falsely accused me of doing this myself.
In the end, his original account DarkSydePhil got banned because he also received a copyright strike. Unable to make money off of YouTube and shaken by this outright rejection, Phil decided to turn to Blip.tv. Now, Blip.tv was also launched at the same time as YouTube and served as a video hosting platform. This network was later shut down in 2015, but was popular in 2010 as a hub for quality web series. Phil made an account on Blip and immediately received a partnership offer. However, his time on Blip was also very short-lived. We mentioned before that Phil has a very crass humor. He playfully made some very demeaning and offensive anti-Semitic jokes during one of his playthroughs, which did not rub both Blip and people the right way. He thought that it would be very amusing to pretend that he was a Nazi and that the players he was killing in the game were Jews, but this joke rightfully got him banned.
So now I, the last remaining Nazi, must exterminate them. Hello, Jew. I killed with one shot. Yes, Jews in space. You'll see what happens. Haha. Oh, yes. Let's you fight me now, Jew.
Even though he was the second biggest content creator on Blip, the platform immediately terminated his contract, giving him no chance of redemption. So, once again, Phil was desperate and without any means of income. And then Machinima entered the scene. In March 2011, Machinima, a third-party company that contracted content creators, offered to partner with Phil. Machinima helped him overcome his AdSense troubles so he could make money from his YouTube channel again. Machinima placed their own ads on Phil's videos so that his videos could be monetized through their AdSense account. Interestingly, he was offered this partnership in 2010 as well, but he blew it off due to his troubles with Hutch, a content creator who is part of the Machinima staff. However, with the help of Machinima, Phil was earning from YouTube again. He made more channels, upgraded his content, and restarted his YouTube journey with a newfound confidence. He was regularly uploading new videos of playthroughs, gaming tournaments, events, and whatnot. It was evident that he was doing really well because a little tour of his condo told viewers how much stuff he was buying. Literally every inch of his living space was filled with figurines, game posters, speakers, devices, and unopened parcels.
February of 2011. A lot has changed, like I said. A lot of models and things that I added to try to redecorate, and unfortunately it came at a bad time because, like I said, if I had known that I was going to get laid off, I probably wouldn't have bought anything.
Things continued to work out in Philip's favor for a while despite his surly attitude and inefficient gameplay. He was averaging 16 million monthly views on YouTube, but sadly, things began to turn dark for Phil by the end of the year 2011. There were numerous reasons for this downfall. For instance, Philip's low-quality videos heavily impacted his viewership. In 2011, content creators were shifting to more advanced methods of voice recording and filming. More and more gamers were using capture cards and inbuilt capture devices to record their screens. On the other hand, Phil was still stuck with his simple camera, which frustrated the majority of his viewers.
PlayStation 3 using the Sony Move controller. And although it was an option to use the PlayStation gamepad, it was heavily touted and sold as, gee, you should use the Sony Move with this game because it was a motion control game on the Wii, so you should get the full experience by using the Sony Move controls on the PlayStation 3. Well, what an amazing backfire.
Many of his hardcore fans wanted Phil to do good and improve his content creation methods, but he paid no heed. In fact, anyone who came close to criticizing his content got banned from his channel. He continued to post unedited raw videos to his channel, despite knowing that his viewership was decreasing. He was surely making a considerable amount of money, but still refused to invest in a capture card, a nice camera, and other gameplay equipment. According to him, he was already making a lot of effort to please his viewers by waking up and streaming every day. His attitude and problematic behavior were also the cherry on top. During playthroughs, he still cursed other players, blamed them for his own inability, and accused opponents of cheating whenever he got the chance. His relationship with other streamers was also not very pleasant, and he consistently attacked other gaming personalities, including PewDiePie, Mitch Dyer, and iJustine. He even did a separate vlog attacking Mitch Dyer because, according to Phil, he did not review a certain game objectively.
That's like PewDiePie, he was a nobody. He all of a sudden made a video of him playing Slender Man or whatever the it was with his stupid face cam screaming, and overnight his video went viral. Because the video went viral, YouTube featured it, which in addition made it become even more viral. Next thing you know, people poured into it. Was never known for gaming. He did parodies of game trailers, and he also did vlogs and celebrity gossip and like that. He was popular for that, and then one day he decided to make a gaming channel. And because he already had an established fan base, and that channel was being promoted by YouTube and became huge, why do you think iJustine, who puts out some of the most vapid, worthless material on YouTube, was one of the first people to go over to the one-channel format, and YouTube actually featured her. Said to week 2 of the Hardcore Gaming Season giveaway for 2013. I'd be more than willing to sign Deus Ex, however I looked inside of it, and it looks like it's all dark, like everything's black, so it probably makes more sense to have me maybe sign a few business cards and stuff. So, Felix, when I contact you, please respond back and let me know if you want me to include some signed business cards with this. Hello everybody, ESP and Panda Lee here, and welcome to the Week 3 drawing and the Week 2 announcement of the winner for the Hardcore Gaming Season giveaway of 2013.
So this is the point where his audience and online gaming community were turning sour towards him. Even Machinima decided to revise their contract with Philip after his viewership decreased from 15.3 million monthly views to 5.3 million monthly views. They must have realized that Phil's online reputation is on a downward spiral, and his crappy content is also not helping the scenario. By 2012, Phil's viewership was at an all-time low, and his contract with Machinima was fully revised. But he continued to blame YouTube's policies for his diminishing views and refused to look at his own poor content creation methods. He shamelessly argued that YouTube was purposefully deprioritizing his content, which was not true at all.
This is unfortunately what's happened with YouTube over the past several years, is that YouTube has chosen to only feature the top guys. Now wait a minute. A lot of these people were like an overnight success, like PewDiePie.
In 2012, Phil's love life got a pleasant turn as well. He got into a relationship with a woman called Leanna, who also had a YouTube channel named Panda Lee. They both met through YouTube's messaging system, which is no longer functioning. He introduced Leanna to his fans, and a lot of his audience was happy that he found love. But Leanna, like Phil, turned out to be an equally obnoxious and insensitive character. During live streams of Phil, she would constantly say rude things and draw negative attention to herself.
Hello everyone, DarkSydePhil here, and with me today is my beautiful girlfriend, Leanna, who also is known as Panda Lee on YouTube, and we just wanted to make a quick video. As you know, I've been spending the weekend with her because, you know, I was going to be busy on Valentine's Day, so we wanted to make a special video just to say Happy Valentine's Day to everyone out there who, you know, gets to spend it with a significant other. If not...
I mean, look at me. I put my makeup on and everything, all for you guys. All for you. Because I'm, like, super serious, okay? Another quick question. What surgery did I get done that I can't always, like, close my eyes halfway? Like, they're super open, like, all the time. And it was like, whoa. But anyway, that just shows that I'm super serious and I'm like not crazy. I'm just super
Listen when I talk to you, Jesus.
Did you press X?
Alright, let's play.
Yes, I pressed X.
Let's talk more playing.
This is not my first video game.
All right.
I've played more Resident Evil than all you guys.
That's it. Everyone press start.
Phil's fans also did not like her presence during the streams, as she was prone to disturbing the game. Everything from her demeanor to her words was very unwelcoming, and the fact that she was 11 years younger than Phil also raised many eyebrows. Many of his viewers contemplated that Leanna was underage at the time she started dating Phil, but there was nothing to prove this suspicion.
6 times 2 is 12. I am on 3.
There were various incidences where Phil lashed out at his audience for speaking rudely to Leanna. He even blocked a few viewers because he believed that they were saying mean stuff about his girlfriend. Interestingly, he himself admitted that Leanna was confrontational and annoying some years later.
Alright, and now I'm going to tell everyone in the chat I had enough of you tonight. I see everyone arguing with my girlfriend instead of talking about the game, and I've had enough. So we're going to put it in sub-only mode, and now none of you can talk, since you can't act your age or act mature and you all want to argue with my girlfriend. Now you can just have no chat. How about that? So, all of you who are acting immature.
However, the whole time the duo was dating, Phil showed his worst behavior to the audience. She was mean during the streams, his gameplay was terrible, his views were diminishing, and he was showing no interest in improving the content. However, when his viewership reached an all-time low, he decided to focus his energy not on improving his gameplay content, but on something else entirely. Let's talk about Project 7, Philip's feeble attempt at attracting the audience. In 2012, Philip started a series named Project 7 on his channel with some of his friends. John Rambo appeared in many of his videos before, and he had a likable personality. Phil, along with John Rambo and their mutual friend Howard, started this series to get back his lost viewership. The plot of this series was that Philip had lost his gaming talent, and he has to visit 7 worlds to get it back.
There's only one way to find out.
So you're walking up to the door. Yep. Alright, so now you're at the door. Oh, trying to get it open. Alright, finally get it open. What the hell, there's a portal inside?
The series required extensive editing. Howard's childhood friends Paul and Andre took on the responsibility in hopes that Phil would give a shout out to their channel, Respect the Pact. Unfortunately, the series did not do very well on the channel and was dropped sometime later.
Sure.
Read the lines.
However, Phil's audience started noticing that John Rambo had stopped appearing in his videos and assumed that they had fallen out. When asked about it, he conveniently said that his friends were jealous of him, and that is why he does not see them anymore. Well, this turned out to be a blatant lie.
So that's why people want to start all this right? All this drama and controversial shit. They must have had a disagreement about money. Phil must have revealed something really personal or something. Nothing ever happened. At least from my side, zippo.
In 2015, John and Howard appeared in a video where they talked in detail about how Project 7 was made. According to them, Phil was a total nuisance during the production and publishing of Project 7, refusing to give people their share of the money, lied about finances, and tried to take credit for their creativity.
Basically, this is a response to a lot of things, including a video posted by one Philium 2 days ago, who decided to record himself scolding us like a high school gym teacher, saying that you're immature and you need to learn how to be men.
Paul and Andre, who realized after some time that the shout-out from Phil was not doing much for their channel, tried to back out from the project. Howard and John knew that the project heavily relied on editing, so they suggested Phil pay them some money. At this point, Phil lied to them and said that he had already asked Paul and Andre and that they did not need any money. Again, a blatant lie.
So they basically say, look, we can't do this anymore. We can't do the Project 7 anymore. It's just not worth our time, man. We got other stuff we got to do. So I had a conversation, like Howard said, I had a conversation with Phil. I said, listen, you have to make it worth their while, man. Throw them money. And I'm not saying throw them like thousands of dollars. At this point, there was already 4 episodes that had come out, right?
Yeah.
Because we did four episodes that had come out. So I said, listen, just divvy up the money. There's 5 people in this. There's only 5 people, the crew and the whole cast, okay?
Yeah.
The video's made a lot of money. If you look at the views, the amount of views, he gets paid on views. It's like $2 for every 1,000 views that he gets. So simply, figure out how much you made off all these videos. I know that Phil spent a lot of money on props and stuff, so subtract all the costs. That's fair, right? Subtract all your costs, then you have a number, and then split it the 5 ways and throw them the cash.
Yep.
And offer that to them. There's no guarantee that they're going to, continue with the series, but hey, man, at least try. And that's fair. His response: they don't want money. They don't want any money after this, based on what he says. They told him that.
Yeah, and then I asked them about it, and they said he didn't even talk to them. And this is what I mean. There's no conversation.
It was later revealed that the whole idea of Project 7 was of Paul and Andre's, and Phil was just taking credit and enjoying the revenue. Since it was impossible to split the revenue 50-50, given the sheer amount of Phil's gaming content, Phil would not just throw $100 at his friends every time they demanded money. And that's not all. He would also belittle his peers at every available chance.
I have no idea of the amount of money that we're making on the co-op. I have no way of figuring it out. So I can no longer figure out this percentage that we agreed on. So I basically just go, okay, listen, throw me $100 every time I come down.
We grew up together.
Yeah.
And basically, Paul, as we got older, Paul ended up going to like a film school, and Andre as well. So yeah. Andre went to a film school in California. Paul went to a film school in New York. And right around the time, like, I had lost contact with them, and then like one day I ended up showing up to I just met them. I go to church with them and everything else, and I just showed up at the church and we were talking or whatever, and they were, we're talking about YouTube and stuff, and I made mention about that I started doing YouTube stuff, and talked about a little bit about you guys, you and Phil, and they were interested. So prior to me introducing you guys to them, I did a couple of videos with them on their, I think it was it Respect the Pact at the time? Or I think it was Respect the Pact, yeah. I remember this is how I remembered, okay? Yeah.
I remember you came to me, and you go, I got these 2 guys, they're my friends.
Yeah.
Grew up together and whatnot. They want to make some videos. Are you interested in doing anything with them? And then I go, thinking about it, I go, let's bring Phil in on this.
When people appreciated Rambo's acting and humor, Phil was quick to respond, and say that he had written all of his lines. Another thing that created a rift between Phil and his friends was his insane spending habits. Howard and Rambo recall that during the production of Project 7, Phil continuously purchased expensive figurines and a lot of other crazy stuff, but refused to pay them their share. According to them, he also purchased a BMW at this time. Phil's detailed condo tour in 2012 is a living, breathing proof of his frivolous spending habits. The tour is almost 1 hour long and shows how much unnecessary stuff he has hoarded. From figurines and posters to gaming supplies and costumes, every inch of his condo is covered in useless items.
Fortunately, it came at a bad time because, like I said, if I had known that I was going to get laid off, I probably wouldn't have bought anything. I would have just saved the money, but I ended up trying to redecorate, and then, I got laid off from my job. What can you do? You don't expect that kind of thing to happen, so... Yes, I know my condo is a mess. I need to clean up this side of it. Stop criticizing me. How dare you? I know how I need to get rid of all these empty boxes. I need to get rid of that TV box. It'll all be gone in a couple of days, hopefully, because it's been very warm here recently and all the ice is starting to melt. So I'm hoping that within the next couple of days I can get all this junk out of here and at least try to restore some semblance of order in here. It actually did not look like this during the warm months of last year. So, alright, this is DSP. This has been my condo tour for 2011. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys later.
At this point, when he was having a fallout with his friends, his relationship with Panda Lee was booming. She appeared constantly in his videos and streams, enjoying the heck of Phil's audience. As mentioned earlier, Phil banned quite a few of his viewers for speaking badly about Liana, but one viewer took it very personally. In early 2013, a user named EvilAJ2010 uploaded a montage of Phil's gameplay to YouTube. This video contained short clips from Philip's playthroughs of Metal Gear Solid 2, showcasing how bad he was at the game. The video is titled, "This is How You Don't Play MSG2." The video also contained various comments from Phil's live streams, criticizing and bashing his poor gameplay.
Should go grab these rations. I don't understand how do I eat the rations? This is just weapon changes.
Until this point, Phil's haters were dispersed and ignorant of his bad attitude. He often used to complain falsely about game bugs and poor mechanics, while his own gameplay was impractical and futile. This video catered to a large audience, people who were ignorant of Phil's attitude, but also equally annoyed by it. The first installment of this series, That's How You Don't Play, exposed Phil as an inefficient player and a sour loser. The original video got around 1 million views, and its popularity started a wildfire. Despite Phil's attempts to take down the video, the series continued to blossom. Apart from EvilAJ2010, more YouTubers were now uploading compilations of Phil's hilarious gameplay under the same title. The popularity of these videos outgrew the popularity of Phil, to the point that YouTube searches about Phil were redirected to these videos. Worried and hopeless, Phil accused the editors of these videos of stealing his content, made videos justifying himself and abusing others, and even went on to flag multiple creators. But unfortunately, he could not succeed, and the videos continued to multiply as the months went by.
People have openly said, maybe I should have embraced this is how you don't play. But from my perspective, it was kind of people stealing my content without my permission. Like if someone said, I want to make a funny montage of you failing and asked my permission to do it, I probably would have said yes. No one ever did. They just illegally stole my content and did it without my permission.
Even though Phil was receiving a lot of negative publicity, his viewership was still on a downward spiral. At this point, he also started using a capture card, but sadly it was too late. He had already turned away many of his fans and was widely notorious among the entire gaming community. Considering his plummeting popularity, Machinima also decided to revise his contract once again and cut down his pay. Instead of learning and moving on from this fiasco, Phil continued to play the victim. During 2013, Phil found himself in more and more self-created controversies. Many YouTubers, including PewDiePie and Total Biscuits, were dragged into Phil's videos, and they also replied back at some point.
Onions keeps your heart healthy, helps you control diabetes, improves immunity, lowers stress, helps protect cancer, keeps your skin healthy, and look at that. Boost your sperm count. Doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man, you need to consume onions. You may not like it, but this is what peak performance look like. Onion man versus soy boy. Okay, that was the video. Hey.
But the biggest controversy that Phil created in 2013 was the giveaway of empty boxes. He literally went to YouTube and announced a giveaway of empty boxes. This was a very foolish move on Phil's part, as it made many of his viewers unsubscribe to his channel.
A few things. First of all, collector's edition packaging. As you open that up, you're going to see the game's gone because I traded it in years ago, but it does have the second bonus disc that probably has the behind-the-scenes content and stuff like that, okay? Yeah, how much would you like to have that autographed by me? Pretty cool, right?
He also made a Twitch account at this point and started live streaming. However, Phil's problematic behavior did not improve, and he still continued to berate and insult his audience. During one of the live streams, Phil's girlfriend Leanna engaged some of the viewers in a heated argument in the comments section. In reaction to this, Phil called his viewers idiots, bashed people for talking rudely to his partner, and disabled the chat. This infuriated the viewers, as Leanna was the one who disrupted the chat and started the argument in the first place.
Alright, and now I'm going to tell everyone in the chat I had enough of your tonight. I see everyone arguing with my girlfriend instead of talking about the game, and I've had enough. So we're going to put it in sub-only mode, and now none of you can talk since you can't act your age or act mature and you all want to argue with my girlfriend. Now you can just have no chat. How about that? So, all of you who are acting immature, this is what you get now. We're putting it into sub-only mode. Idiots. I'm here trying to play a game. It's hard to concentrate when a bunch of little immature get into a argument with my girlfriend. You. There you go. Subscriber only mode. No chat. That's what you get. Piss me the off. There. Guess what? Now there's no more arguments. No more. Dumb. Now we can all concentrate on the game, which is what you should have been concentrating on to begin with. Immature. Jesus. If I could slap you through the internet, I would. Alright, now let's get back to business. What we're all here for. Jeez.
Various other incidents of this nature happened during this period that made people on Twitch dislike Philip even more. During mid-2012 and 2013, Philip spent most of his time streaming playthroughs and making controversies, which was just usual for him. But 2014 brought some major changes in his life. As mentioned earlier, Phil was hoarding an insane amount of stuff in his condo. His living space was so much filled with junk that there was no place to move around. To address this issue, what did brilliant, bright Phil do? He decided to buy a new condo in a totally different state. In 2014, Phil moved from Bridgeport, Connecticut to Washington with his girlfriend Leanna.
Hello everybody, DarkSydePhil here, and welcome to my condo walkthrough for 2013. And some of you right now who have seen the previous walkthroughs may be looking around and saying, oh my god, what the hell is that in the background?
He bought $265,000 worth of a condo, while his views on YouTube were plummeting, and he was struggling financially. It was time for Phil to cut down his living expenses, but the mastermind decided to go all in and buy a huge condo. Mind you, he was still asking his fans for donations while taking huge credit card loans to fund his lavish lifestyle.
I didn't even make 60% of what I would need on YouTube to pay my bills. Typically, to pay my bills, there's a certain amount of money I need to make minimum on YouTube to do it. I didn't get there in February with the taxes coming up.
After shifting from Bridgeport to Washington, Phil got into more trouble with Twitch. During one of his live streams, he was asked by a Twitch admin to turn down his bitrate because the platform was unable to handle higher bandwidths. However, Phil began to argue with the admin and refused to lower the quality of the stream. Repulsed by the low quality of Twitch streams and disappointed with the admins, Phil decided to stream on YouTube. But the odds were not in his favor, as even on YouTube, Phil failed to garner significant views. So here's a recap of Phil's situation in 2014. He bought an expensive condo, he's heavily in debt, trolls and detractors are after him like never before, and his revenue is decreasing big time. In a desperate attempt to save his sinking ship, Phil launched a Patreon channel on YouTube. While he brought back some of his lost revenue through this channel, it was not the happy ending Phil was hoping for. People criticized him for this channel as well, and he responded erratically, like always. 2014 also marks the year of heavy and brutal trolling for Phil. Apart from the usual "that is how you don't play" videos, people were now making parodies of his other segment, DSP Tries It. There were so many parodies and compilation videos of DSP on YouTube that it was hard to find Phil's original content. But honestly, this is just the harmless part of trolling. During playthroughs and streams, people were now bashing and trolling him badly, and even pushing him to quit in rage. However, in the summer of 2014, something happened to Phil that is the worst nightmare of every Twitch streamer. He was swatted.
Nope, you don't get to play. If only there was an easy way to disable chat on this piece of console. Let's see. Not in system storage. It's in devices, I think. Audio devices. The microphone is muted. Look, you can't even do nothing. Look.
Hear me, but I heard you insult me.
Ah, you're a piece of shit. Who gives a f? Seriously. Here, you know what? There. There. I don't have to hear this moron. Oh, a complete idiot. He's talking about something that happened 2 years ago on Twitch. I mean, could you be more of a loser? Seriously. The reason this guy joined my match was to do that. Not to play the game, not to have fun. He ruins it for everyone. Delays. People who want to play have to wait now, right? Because we have to listen to this idiot. I mean, what? Ladies and gentlemen, you have found the epitome of a loser on the internet. Find that man, find his tag on PSN, and I give you permission to spam his inbox with enough nonsense so that he never is able to do anything ever again. Seriously. What an He's talking about me playing Kingdom Hearts 1. That was 2 years ago. He's asking the dumbest question ever. What a complete idiot. My God. We're playing MKX in 2015, you loser. Wow. Anyway, if only I could figure out how to disable voice chat so I don't have to hear people do stupid shit like that, but I can't, because guess what? There's no easy way to do it on PSN. The guy had no interest in playing the game. He just wants to waste everyone's time to bring stupid shit up from 2 years ago. That is the kind of guy who I want to punch. Like, that is the only way that idiot will ever learn anything is if someone knocks his teeth out of his face. Then he won't do it anymore. But that's the problem. On the internet, everything's safe, right? Everyone could just troll anyone and do anything, say nasty shit, and bring up stuff from 2 years ago because they're cowards. There's no way I could disable voice chat. So we're gonna be at the mercy of idiots who want to try to do that just to ruin the stream and ruin the gameplay for everyone.
Swatting is a very malicious act that internet pranksters usually do to terrify live streamers. They usually find out the streamer's location and deliver false information about the individual to the police. As a result, police go to the location, ready to handle a dangerous criminal, only to find a YouTuber standing in the headset. Something similar happened when a police team showed up at Phil's doorstep with information that he was his girlfriend. However, Phil already knew that something of this nature could happen to him and notified the police some days prior. Phil's tweet also revealed that he was not the only one who was swatted. His girlfriend's father was also swatted at the same time.
That there is some kind of a group of people in this world that literally follow my every move just to be negative about me and to say I did something wrong and to be angry about the fact that I am successful. I took precautions and I said I had the feeling there will eventually be people who will try to do something nasty. And so as soon as I moved here, I was settled in for about a month, I actually heard about other YouTubers like Kutra from The Creatures, right? Who had been doxxed majorly. He got doxxed on stream. It was, or not doxxed, excuse me, I screwed up. Swatted. He got swatted on stream. And on stream, you know, SWAT team came in, arrested him, everything, right? Cleared his place, and they cleared blocks of where this guy worked out of. And it was just a horrible, horrible situation. But he's probably not the only person, but he's the most public person where you could watch the whole thing. People, you know, all over recorded the streams or whatever of it. And I said, I gotta protect myself and my girlfriend. We are family now, and I needed to protect us. And I said, I'm going to preemptively, before anything happens, I'm going to call the local police department, explain the situation, explain to them exactly who I am and what I do, and I'm going to let them know that their chances are someone's going to find out my address, and they're going to try something at some point. I don't know when, but it may happen.
Phil, along with his viewers, believed that it was the Sons of Kojima, the popular detractor group, that was behind this swatting incident. But this is not the only terrible thing that happened to Phil. In the next few days, Phil would also receive a DDoS attack during one of his live streams, another malicious activity that disrupts the usual server traffic. This attack overwhelms the server, temporarily cutting off the internet access.
This is not kiddie anymore, you know? And you can say as much as you want, all right, that up to this point, that everything that's been thrown against DSP, Phil Burnell, DarkSydePhil, DSP Gaming, whatever my moniker you want to give me, the King of Hate, you could say it was in criticism's sake, it was just in trolling sake, it was in good humor, it was in jest, maybe it wasn't in even good humor, it was malicious, but this is by far not only the most serious thing, this is the first life-threatening thing that has ever happened to me in regards to YouTube, and it takes it to the next level.
This was all too much for Phil, and he tried to handle the situation very erratically. According to Phil, the internet trolls were the reason for all this hate that surrounded him. So he tried to flag every channel that made even the slightest mention of him. The guy went on a flagging spree, flagging as many channels as he could. Soon after this, he started to get the taste of his own medicine. Some people started flagging Phil's videos in response. According to them, Phil was showing fan art in numerous of his videos, which is against the copyright rules. This affected Phil's viewership big time. Consider this the biggest blow that Phil received in his entire YouTube career.
I had kind of plateaued. I was right here all of last year, 2015, and all of a sudden, false copyright strikes hit my channels. Not just DSP Gaming, but also this channel, the King of Hate Vlogs, forcing me to remove pretty much every pre-stream video ever because they found a loophole in YouTube system where they could flag artwork, which is... I had legal permission to use any artwork that was ever used in any of my videos, but they abused the system and filed false copyright claims against me, and YouTube basically is not like the American court system where you're innocent until proven guilty. Instead, they just, you're guilty until you prove that you're innocent, which is ridiculous. So in order to protect my business, I had to delete every pre-stream video I'd ever done up to that point that used fan art, resulting in the millions of views dropping off of my channels.
If the strikes increased, Phil would have lost his channels temporarily. To tackle the situation, Machinima advised Phil to set all the videos that contained fan art private. But this also created dire consequences for Phil. Removing a large number of videos from the public's eye resulted in a heavy loss of viewership for Phil. Between August 2014 and September 2014, Philip lost almost 4 million views on both of his channels, cutting down his revenue even further. He was in a miserable situation once again, and the credit goes to his hateful misconduct and notoriously egotistic behavior. But he blamed everything on Machinima, showing a classic example of biting the hand that feeds you. He made an hour-long video talking about copyright strikes and Machinima. The financial situation was so bad for Phil in 2015 that he resorted to selling his figurines. His Patreon page was still up and running, by the way, where he continued to set milestone goals, telling people to fund him for buying new games and improving his content quality. This page was making Phil at least $1,000 a month. He had a new tactic this time. He was now asking patrons to give him money, and he would do a task in return, like playing a patron's game of choice or playing Minecraft, which according to him was a trash game. During this time, he also made a statement regarding Patreons, said that he would feel morally bad to ask his fans for money, but still continued to set milestone goals on his Patreon page. But after the swatting incident, Phil went a step further and asked people to fund him to restart Project 7. He said that if he hit this milestone goal, he would take some time to write, record, and publish Project 7 in 2 days. Interestingly, he hit the milestone goal but failed to fulfill his promise. His relationship with John Rambo was already in disarray, so there was no possibility of ever restarting Project 7. He worked on the prospect for a while but dropped the idea, later saying that he solely wanted to focus on his gaming content. According to him, he asked people to pledge $1,250 only to create a trailer for Project 7, not the entire series.
You don't do that. You don't publicly ask for help and then not do that. You know what I mean? Like, just think about how much I got into. For a few $100s, when I was going to do the Project 7 trailer, how many years ago, right? People were clamoring for me to reboot Project 7. One summer I said, it's something different. Maybe I'll reboot Project 7. Let's make a trailer. And let's see if people would like the trailer that I made. And if they did and they saw the quality, they're like, oh, that's cool. Then I would consider redoing Project 7 entirely. Okay. But the truth of the matter is that it never came to fruition because, number one, I got super busy with gameplay and other stuff, and most people didn't care about it. After the whole thing happened and I raised the money for it, which, by the way, was only a couple $100, because my way my Patreon worked back then was there were levels of categories of reward, and so this reward was basically, oh, you know, if you hit another extra $200, I'll make the Project 7 trailer for this month, right? So, in that regard, it wasn't a big deal, and most people did not give a shit. In fact, one person who was a huge fan of mine was very upset that I didn't do it, and he vocalized his basically his anger at the situation, and because of that, we kind of had a falling out, and he never watched my stuff anymore. But outside of that one single person, no one else cared. In fact, everyone else preferred that I didn't do this stupid trailer. And so what I did is I made it so that the next month on Patreon, everything was much, much, much lower to obtain. Like, normally it would have been, I don't know, I'm just guessing because I don't remember, but let's say normally it would have been like $500 to reach a certain goal, so I only made it like $200 to account for the fact that there was money that had already been given. I didn't really come through on my promises, okay? So, this is literally over $200, okay, that I basically made up for, and no one had a problem with. To this day, my haters still bring this up and claim that I scammed the viewers out of Project 7, and I scammed the pages, and I scammed everyone, and what a horrible person I am, and all this. That's the thing with crowdfunding, guys. I'm gonna be very honest with all of you. That's the thing with crowdfunding. You don't know what kind of a person you're giving to. You may be giving to a really honest person who cares. You may be giving to someone who doesn't give a or you may be just giving to someone who things don't work out the way that they had promised, which is the case what I feel about with Project 7, what happened. So, you don't know, and once you give that money, it's gone. You have to understand that. You gave the money, it's gone. There's no guarantee anything's gonna happen. There's no contract. You can't sue that person for it. You gave that money willingly. It's done. There's no, oh, he stole, no. You gave it. You actively chose to give. Therefore, that money is now going to that person, and hopefully you're trusting that person to do what they've said or make the right decision, and that's that. You see what I mean?
John also responded sarcastically to the news with a comedy skit on his own YouTube channel.
I've got a 4-bedroom house in a great community. Like my car? It's new. How do I do it? I'm in debt up to my eyeballs. Somebody help me.
This is why I've opened a Pay Me Tons account. It's an internet website that allows people like me to receive lots of creativity from people like you. And I'm special because I upload videos to the internet. In fact, it means that my life is much more difficult than everyone else's. I'm following my dreams and busting my ass. Talking over video games, posting breakfast pics, and vlogging about movies that I hate.
This is not the only weird thing he did. He even rage quit Persona 3, a patron's choice game that he was paid nearly $1,000 to play. This and more such incidents has made patrons highly distrustful of Phil. According to Phil himself, 2015 was the lowest point, where he continuously lost viewership, lost friends, and even lost financial stability.
I'm not redoing it. I'm done. She's gonna heal him. I'm done. I'm done. It's over. It's over. Goodbye. It's over. That's it for Persona 3, ladies and gentlemen. That's the worst final boss fight I've ever done in an RPG. That's not an exaggeration. That is the worst final boss fight I've ever done. and I'm not redoing it. So I don't care about the end of the game. I spent, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, over 4 months, and I'm not doing it again. That's a complete waste of time. That was 90 minutes of one boss fight. The worst designed boss fight I've ever done in a RPG. I'm done. The playthrough is over. I'm not playing this game again. That is it. I'm not wasting any more time. I'm done.
He also admitted in a video that he has developed gout on his foot, which is an inflammatory condition that occurs due to overconsumption of sugar, alcohol, and junk food. There was even a series of videos on YouTube that highlighted his extremely unhealthy lifestyle.
And let's go ahead and get some pizza onto a plate. So let me see here how this works. Basically, each pizza is 2 big pieces, it looks like.
Plummeting views, copyright attacks, e-begging, feud with friends, and immense financial loss. This is how Phil ended 2015 and entered 2016. This year, Phil decided to launch another YouTube channel named KO Gaming. He planned to gain his lost popularity, make up for his bad attitude, and amp up his earnings. His new channel, KO Gaming, featured montages from his gameplay, showcasing his gaming talent in the best possible light. This channel was launched to counter the damage done by the infamous "This Is How You Don't Play" series.
Hello and welcome to KO Gaming. KO Gaming has launched. That's right, it's called KO Gaming. You can find it at youtube.com/KO Gaming1. That's the web address to get to this channel, KO Gaming. So check it out. Go to KO Gaming 1 on YouTube and you will get it, okay? That's going to be a review that's going to go up on KO Gaming. Later in the week, we'll have hits of the week on KO Gaming. Thank you to those of you who have already checked out KO Gaming. If you've watched KO Gaming, you're over there, wow, I like this. Tell your friends. Word of mouth. Tell them, listen, Phil's doing something completely different. If you had issue with the way he used to do stuff on DSP Gaming with tons of gameplay flooding in and shit, it's totally different experience on KO Gaming. Check it out. KO Gaming. KO Gaming. KO Gaming. KO Gaming. KO Gaming. KO Gaming.
Interestingly, aside from shifting to a capture card, Phil was now uploading decently edited and somewhat presentable videos to his channel. While he entered 2016 with a newfound positivity, things did not go his way for long. One highly controversial mistake, and he was on a downward spiral once again. In May 2016, while Phil was preparing for a live stream, he accidentally recorded himself doing something unspeakable. We can't show you the full video, not because there's something graphic in there, but because it's just very uncomfortable to watch. However, we can show you the reaction of Phil once he realizes that the camera is on.
Oh, the camera's on. The camera's been on the whole time, huh? I don't even know.
Phil even tried to stupidly cover his mistake, saying that he was just scratching his leg, which is a brazen lie. It's evident what he was doing from the action and the heaven forbid expression on Phil's face. Despite Phil's assumption that the internet would just move on, this incident turned out to be the biggest controversy of Phil's career. Even Keemstar talked about this incident in his YouTube segment.
And he was over on Twitch.tv.
Oof.
And on the Twitch.tv, he didn't realize he was live.
Okay.
So he went up to his, his desk, right?
He cammed up.
Into his computer, right?
Yeah.
He didn't know he was live at all. And he went to a little website where girls were getting naked and doing naughty things. And he started going like this.
I do have live on Twitch?
Live on Twitch. Here's the clip. We got the clip, ladies.
Oh no, DSP. Coming.
Initially, Phil reacted to this situation in his classic way, blocked and banned everyone who tried to talk about this incident during live streams. But just a day or two later, he retweeted the viral picture of himself that was being circulated on the internet as a joke. While this incident dragged Phil into the negative limelight once again, his views surged for a short span. However, this spike in viewership was very short-lived. For the rest of the year, Phil's views continued to plummet, and his subscriber count remained sadly stagnant. On top of that, he yet again was not fulfilling his promises to the patrons. For instance, people on the Patreon page voted for him to complete 4 Minecraft sessions in 2016, but he only managed to do 1, giving excuses that he was not getting enough viewership. As the months went by, his new channel KO Gaming failed to receive much traction. While some videos did well, others failed to hit even 5,000 views.
I'm covering the new games. This is what people said they wanted to see for the rest of the year. Where did the attention go? Why do I have 24,000 subs on KO Gaming and I'm only getting like 5,000 to 7,000 views a video? I don't know. What happened? How do you get that much? I don't get it.
Another incident on Twitch infuriated his audience even more. While streaming his playthrough of Pokemon Moon, he badly lashed out at the viewers. His streams were consistently getting poor views, and according to him, the reason was not his poor content, but the viewers who avoided his streams due to their own laziness.
And Phil's commentary is boring, and that's why people don't want to watch the playthroughs of the streams. I'm loving this game. I'm voice acting. I'm engaged. I'm commentating on everything that's going on actively. I call massive on any idiot who says that about either the Watch Dogs 2, which I've been playing recently and really liking, or Pokemon. I call complete and utter on anyone who's saying that I'm not engaged and I sound like I'm bored. I'm not. So I've had enough excuses. It just seems to me like people are lazy and don't want to come out to the streams.
Later that year, Phil began showcasing videos from various channels on KO Gaming, many of which ironically followed the "this is how you don't play" format, a style often used to mock his gameplay. With his own content underperforming, Phil opted to monetize the very videos that satirized him. However, this strategy was short-lived, as KO Gaming eventually faced demonetization as well, rendering the effort unprofitable. His financial situation was deteriorating day by day. His channels were being demonetized, and his online reputation was at stake. Still, Phil had the guts to blame each and everything but himself for his declining popularity. To rescue himself from this financial pit, he continued asking for money and donations for the better part of 2016. Then, 2017 came with new and more challenging problems for Phil.
If 10% of the people who watch me every single month, I get around 2 million views still on DSP Gaming a month, and that's not counting views here on the King of Hate vlogs or over on KO Gaming or anything like that. That's just the channel alone. It gets over 2 million views usually a month, all right? If 10% of 2 million, 10% gave $1 a month, I would never have to worry about YouTube again. I wouldn't have to worry about views. I wouldn't have to worry about advertisements. If that was a consistent pledge that I got on Patreon, you would never have to hear me make a video like this, and I never have to say I'm in dire straits and I don't even know if I could do this business long term anymore.
The first blow for Phil in 2017 was his feud with Machinima. The apocalypse hit the same year, snatching the community to earn ad revenue from various channels. Besides KO Gaming, Phil's other 2 accounts also faced demonetization. Desperate and hopeless, Phil continued to badger Machinima for financial advice and to work out a way to spike up his views. Machinima advised Phil to cut down the length of his videos and upload short clips to appeal to a wider audience. However, since Phil was already struggling financially, he had no means to pay for an editor. Rather than realizing his own lack of potential and working on his content, he started a heated debate with Machinima. He argued that the network owed him more attention due to their long-standing partnership, claiming he had been with them from the start. In frustration, he threatened to leave the network.
We recommend you shorten your video length because right now we're seeing your videos on average are 20 to 30 minutes long, but your average watch engagement is much less than that. What we need you to do is shorten your videos so that your watch engagement percentage will go up and hopefully you'll get better ads on your videos, all right? So they did actually give me a good piece of advice, not to say that it was an amazing piece of advice. It was kind of like a quick fix rather than a root cause of the problem kind of answer. But they gave me that piece of advice and I responded. The first thing I said was, I want you to understand something. This literally is a situation where I'm in dire financial straits, and if this stands where I'm going to be making half as less money on YouTube as I ever did before, starting now, I'm going to lose my house. I'm going to have all my reclaimed, credit card bills are going to go default. I'm probably going to have to declare bankruptcy. I want you to know that if you feel that this is how you're going to treat me as a partner, I don't want to be with you anymore. And I said that in black and white writing in this message to them.
Since Machinima was already quite sick of Phil at this point, and he was not exactly proving to be a profitable client, they terminated his contract in March 2017. Phil's financial situation and internet visibility again hit an all-time low. To address the ongoing controversy, Phil released another 2-hour-long video that ultimately failed to clarify or even summarize the core issue. Left without a steady source of income, Phil began searching for a new multi-channel network, MCN, to partner with. Eventually, Curse extended an offer, providing him with a partnership that, while distinct from his previous agreement with Machinima, gave him a financial lifeline. Unlike Machinima's managed partnership model, Curse offered a different arrangement, but Phil was relieved to have regained a source of income. However, Phil sacked Curse a few months later and partnered with another MCN called Laveria. While this company offered Phil a much more lucrative partnership, they failed to fulfill their promises. Defeated and disappointed, Phil returned to Curse, and they took him in once again in May.
During all this period of time when I was making all these vlogs back in February and explaining my situation to everyone, I was contacted by this new MCN, and this MCN said, "We would like to recruit you. We're actually a fan of your work. We know who you are. We see that you've done a really long-running legacy of YouTube videos. And we also are aware of the situation with the negativity that you've got this group of people who follow you around on the internet are negative to you. We know all about that. And we're okay with it. And we see your situation right now going on with your partnership network. And we'd like to be competitive. We'd like to offer you something better than what Curse offers, because everyone knows what Curse offers. Curse offers the same terms."
While Phil's financial life was going through a rough spot, his personal life was also falling apart. Earlier this year in February, Leanna posted on her Twitter that she was wearing a fake engagement ring to work. This clearly indicated that Phil was hesitating to propose to Leanna while she was all in this relationship. However, in April, the couple did eventually announce their engagement, only to break up a month later. According to trolls and Phil's audience, Phil openly discussed Leanna's medical problems in his podcast, which became a basis for their breakup. Phil spoke briefly about this breakup in a tweet, telling everyone that he and Pandalee ended this relationship on good terms. After the breakup, Phil's physical and mental health hit rock bottom. He fell into unhealthy habits, drinking excessively, and relying on fast food for sustenance. He even started drinking during live streams. Meanwhile, trolls and detractors grew more relentless, creating compilations that mocked his poor gameplay, his distinctive seal-like laugh, and his frequent snorts.
I had a shot during Christmas, I had 2 single drinks, and then I had a shot during a stream about a month ago or a few weeks ago. So here's what's left of the whale gin, okay? Welcome to the pre-stream podcast. Good stuff. That was absolutely disgusting.
Amidst all this negativity, however, a bright spot emerged in Phil's life. Later in 2017, he introduced his new girlfriend, Kat. Though she lacked the outspoken and bold personality of his previous partner, Leanna, Kat appeared to be a promising match for Phil during a challenging time.
Alright, hello everybody. Phil and Kat here, and welcome to a special video that we've been planning on working on for a while. Kat has been living with me now.
As 2018 approached, Phil found himself in yet another more serious financial ordeal. YouTube and AdSense revised their policy for MCN, where multi-channel networks were now required to provide a complete report on their clients. This created a problem for Curse, as they knew the extent of Phil's negative popularity and diminishing online presence. So they also terminated their contract with Phil. This meant that DSP Gaming was now demonetized.
No wrongdoing on my end or their end. It was just, they decided that, that was going to be the end of it. Amicable break, I guess is what you would call, okay? I've been having a lot of stress. I've been having a lot of problems. I say personal problems. What it is, like at night, I can't sleep. I'm thinking, man, what's going to happen when DSP Gaming isn't partnered with Curse anymore and I have to run my own personal ads? What's the big, was there going to be a giant difference in ad revenue? I don't know, because I've never done that. You know what I mean?
This proved to be a severe setback for Phil, as he was already struggling to pay his taxes and was under huge credit card debt. With no MCN to partner with, Phil was unable to monetize his gaming content through AdSense. He appealed to YouTube to have the original ban on his AdSense account lifted, but the effort yielded no immediate results. In the meantime, Phil continued to live stream on Twitch, upload gaming content to his already dead channel KO Gaming, and ask viewers for donations. To stay relevant, Phil also decided to create a remake of his shower video that went viral some years ago. While the video did get some attention, it failed to turn things around for Phil. However, his original account, DSP Gaming, did get remonetized some months later, which was a pleasant surprise for Phil. Fans and haters of DSP also discovered a very amusing phrase this year. It's all Tevin's fault. Detractors use this phrase liberally to provoke Phil. There were numerous compilations on YouTube showing Phil abusing Tevin, calling him a robber, thief, and lots of other petty names. So who was Tevin and why was he given so much attention? Well, Tevin was just a very lucky troller who posted various videos of DSP's live streams on the internet. He had been watching and following Phil since 2010 and was a fan turned detractor. Tevin was the center of Phil's wrath for a few months, but eventually, Phil forgot about him to focus his attention on much bigger targets.
If you must not be named or to apologize for his criminal activities, would you forgive him? It's not a matter of an apology, it's a matter of stop doing it. Because the people who do that stuff, they outright know what they're doing is hurting me, it's stealing my content, it's taking viewers away from me. Instead of contributing to me, they're contributing to them. They know that. They know they are stealing. They can try to justify it till the cows come home under fair use or whatever. They know what they are doing is wrong. An anonymous gifter gifted a sub to Almighty Tevin, who's banned. Very nice. Then we got another dollar tip saying, call it Tevin. No, because I'm not a moron like you. See? Oh, here you go. Look. Someone illegally restreaming me right now. Look at this. Maybe we should watch a stream. What do you guys think? Should we watch the who illegally restreams me on a daily basis, illegally restreaming me? Nah, I think I'll just do this. I think I'll just tell him to go f*** himself.
For the next few months, Phil, aside from complaining about his taxes and asking for donations, made a habit of bad-mouthing other members of the YouTube community. He made fun of Pro Jared's and cheating scandal just because the guy tweeted about Phil some years back. Phil also faced heavy criticism for allegedly monetizing the tragic death of Twitch streamer Etika, who died by. He was accused of manually placing 8 ads on a pre-stream video that prominently featured Etika's name in the title, leading many to believe he was exploiting the tragedy for attention and financial gain. The backlash grew when Phil discussed Etika during one of his live streams, addressing topics like mental health and the impact of online trolling. However, many felt that Phil was only trying to make the situation all about himself.
SJ to be $5. Let's see here. SJ says, I watched Etika for a long time. I'm really sad about what happened. Did you ever come close to being mentally unstable from all the trolling and hate that you get? I hope you're doing well, and please talk to someone if things get too hectic. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, there's times when it really does get to me, when things go really bad because of it. Or when I just want to express something genuinely, that's something positive, and these idiots have to literally turn it into something negative and just say, oh, see, Phil could never ever genuinely do anything good, or never ever genuinely have a positive feeling about anything, because in the past, here's 5 things he did wrong. And they do this all the time. They did it on my tweet. I made a tweet about Etika, just basically saying what I just said, okay? And oh, look, in the past, Phil has referenced mental illness, and in the past, Phil has done this horrible thing and that horrible thing. How dare he make a tweet about something like this? Oh, seriously, that's what I mean. These people, they just want to bring you down. Here's a tweet about a guy who apparently was so mentally disturbed by people with him that he committed suicide. So let's now attack the guy making the tweet. But the tweet's about someone who committed suicide because they were attacked, so let's attack the guy making the tweet.
Amidst all this drama where literally Phil's world was collapsing at every step, there was something positive that happened in 2017, but Phil was oblivious to it. The Sons of Kojima, the popular detractor group that was after Phil for a long time, crashed terribly in 2017.
Hello everyone, and welcome to an emergency. Yes, you heard that right. Emergency copyright strikes. My name is Fred, and I am being joined by a panel of litigious lawyers, some copyright connoisseurs, some false flag figs. First of all, Mr. Cyanide Caesar.
The group was one of the main trollers that used to make "This Is How You Don't Play" videos and monitor every live stream of Phil's, as well as scrutinize every forum and page that talked about him. They even launched a podcast discussing Phil's shenanigans. While Phil was deeply annoyed by their presence, people used to enjoy their humor and satire. The SOK attracted a community of viewers who shared their perspective on DSP's content, creating a niche detractor culture online. But everything came tumbling down when they became obsessed with Phil. The members turned on each other, and there were tales of harassment, cyberbullying, and whatnot. The leader of the SOK was said to be the worst of all of them. He sacked members once they showed concerns about his obsessive nature. He threatened to dox people, blackmailed members, and stalked anyone who he thought was a DSP fan. To keep his content relevant on the internet, he even stalked a potential DSP fan who was also autistic and allegedly had cyber with him.
I appreciate it.
If Ross came into your house, would you shoot him with a gun like that one guy?
Be honest with us.
I would.
Yeah, I would too. I mean, Second Amendment rights.
I would shoot my computer monitor if it had a picture of him on it.
So would I. What do you think?
So what do you say, Buck?
What do I say about what?
Would you shoot Jonathan Ross if he came in your house like that one guy?
Well, if he came in with a gun, I would just came in like, draw.
What if he came in like naked?
I would just close the door and say, get the out of my house.
What if they like tried to force you to get on your knees and said you got purple elbows?
I would still kick him out of my house. Okay, what if he was naked and he had a gun? That would make no sense. Yeah, he can be naked and have a gun. He be pointed directly at your face.
Threatened you with the gun? What if he threatened you with the gun and he made you receive oral?
One after another, the members of the SOK started coming out, giving their accounts on the entire controversy. Group members who were close to Fred revealed how he used to threaten and stalk people as well as dox the members of the group. Former SOK member Tevin even released a 4-hour-long video discussing the collapse of the group.
Alright folks, on the subject of today's video is going to be something a little bit different, a little bit spicy. We're going to be talking about a group I was previously affiliated with called the Sons of Kojima. You don't know who the Sons of Kojima is? Well, good, because if I were you, I would stay away from this group as far as the eye could see. These guys are a blight to the internet. These guys are a bubonic plague. These guys are worse than Hurricane Armor right now. That's how terrible these folks are. We have a group of liars, manipulators, and backstabbers behind the scene, all because of a centralized focus that is faggy, or Fred for short. But this guy, as soon as he got into the group, there's been nothing but conspiracy theories, tinfoil hat nonsense, and utter garbage. Friends being thrown under the bus.
Several members of the Sons of Kojima, including Fred and Shay, publicly apologized, expressing embarrassment and regret for their past actions. However, by this point, the damage was done, and the group had disbanded for good.
It comes full circle. About a week ago, some leaks came out, and when I saw these leaks, I was embarrassed. I was hoping that this stuff would never come out because it shows us, and I include me because I was a part of that. It shows us doing some weird, obsessive trying to get people to record calls, getting people to record calls successfully, spying on people, trying to be up to date like TMZ on what another person is doing over some stupid trying to spy on a whole group.
When Phil finally discovered their collapse, he posted a long, disoriented tweet addressing the situation. While the disbandment of the Sons of Kojima was a cheerful surprise for Phil, he had much bigger problems to deal with in 2019, such as taxes. From 2017 onwards, Phil has used the word taxes so many times in his live streams that there are hours of compilations on this matter. Here's a little background on Phil's intensifying tax situation. When Phil moved to Washington, he apparently stopped paying his taxes. He was in great financial strain because his YouTube channels were practically dead and he was not making much money from Twitch either. It is also worth mentioning that he was in huge debt due to his condo and the credit card loans he had acquired. To make matters worse for him, the IRS found out that he was running an unregistered business from his home and notified him to pay taxes. To resolve the situation, Phil started fundraising instead of getting a job. By this point, Phil not getting a job and begging online for money had become somewhat of a meme.
I get a letter in the mail stating that due to some information that has come across the desk of someone, that they suspect that I, Phil Burnell, own a business called DSP Gaming, and I'm doing business in the state of Washington, but I'm not doing it properly. I never registered the business, which is legally required in the state of Washington, and I'm not paying taxes. In the state of Washington, they have what's apparently, which I don't know, I'm not a tax attorney, it's called,
However, he did numerous fundraisers in 2017 and 2018, but failed to collect enough amount. In the meantime, he continued to talk non-stop about his taxes and complaining about his doomed finances. While he eventually did manage to pay his state taxes, the sword of huge federal taxes was still looming over his head. The federal taxes accumulated for over $17,000.
Right now, I really do need your help to try to get through this tough time with these taxes and stuff that I'm owed. So that being said, if you could pledge to my Patreon, if you want to be very generous during this holiday season and help me out and get me out of a bad situation and allow me to keep living here in this house and doing what I love, please pledge to my Patreon in the next week. 1 week left to pledge and make this happen, folks.
To pay off this huge amount, Phil decided to hold a fundraising marathon in 2019. As absurd as it sounds, through these fundraising streams, Phil managed to raise a considerable amount. There were many detractor theories during this time where people believed that the donations were not actually being used for taxes. Phil himself admitted in one of the streams that some of the donation amount was going to pay off his monthly bills. But at the same time, he also kept assuring his fans that every penny he was receiving in donations was going to pay off his taxes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the conclusion of our Christmas marathon for 2019. It is now 8 p.m. my time, meaning I have been streaming for 10 straight hours. I had a break in there for dinner. But what an event. So let's talk a little bit first of all. First of all, thank you guys for all the support. As you see, a lot of people were very supportive today, cheering, subbing, and tipping. The tips goal, we did really good. I mean, we didn't hit the tips goal, which is kind of unfortunate. I really would have liked to hit it by the end of today, but...
During one of the fundraising streams where he wanted to raise $1,000, he told his fans that he would give them positive news once the goal was met. This made a fan donate a whopping $1,000. Later in the stream, he just introduced his cat Jasper. When people assumed that he got a new cat, Phil clarified he had had Jasper for quite a while.
Ladies and gentlemen, I got someone I'd like you to meet. Come on up here. Come on up here, buddy. You want to come up here? You want me to pick you up? Someone who actually is not a new addition to the family. Someone who I'm going to introduce you to today, who has been a part of our lives for quite some time, in fact. All right? And it's funny because with all the stuff that we've had to do, we've had to keep a lot of stuff private. Come on up here. Here he is. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to our pet. Oh, he's playing with this. Oh, here we go. Here's our pet. Yeah, here we go.
In the meantime, Phil also did an interview with the well-known YouTuber The Quartering. While many anticipated this interview to create significant buzz online, it ultimately fell flat.
Another person that DSP has outlasted.
Yeah, that's a whole other story for another day. I was one of the people who stayed with them the longest after years of people telling me to leave them.
Phil convinced his audience all through 2017, 2018, and 2019 that he was going through a rough spot financially. He continuously kept asking for money while detailing his problems. This was partially true, as Phil was buried under thousands of dollars of debt. In 2019, his Connecticut condo was foreclosed by the bank due to his inability to keep up with the mortgage payments. It was not until 2020 that he finally decided to file for bankruptcy. Please note that he also married Kat during this period, so they were now a family of 2. So when he filed for bankruptcy, a lot of things that were hidden from the audience started coming out on the surface. Detractors somehow got hold of the bankruptcy document, and it revealed that Phil was under $131,550 in debt. He had taken huge loans from various credit cards. He had acquired a BMW, and he also owed the IRS $15,000 in federal taxes.
With your situation, there's really no way out besides declaring bankruptcy. You're like looking at your income is inconsistent but good. You're like, how did you have this amount of income those years and all of a sudden your income went down because of this? I explained because...
How did the situation get so bad for Phil? Of course, his poor fiscal habits were to blame, but the amount of debt pointed towards some other serious problems. And then WWE Champions came into the picture and everything started making sense. So for those who don't know, WWE Champions is a mobile game that is basically like Candy Crush. In this mobile game, you can do transactions and gamble to make your way upwards. A serious investigation and hours of digging by the detractors revealed Phil was actually addicted to this mobile game. Despite Phil denying the whole thing and convincing people that he did not play WWE Champions, people found out that he'd invested almost $40,000 in the game. This was a mind-numbing moment for the entire gaming community. The guy who asked for thousands of dollars in donations and practically cried for hours about his finances was investing $40,000 in a stupid mobile game. Even famous wrestlers reacted to this hilarious situation.
Phil Burnell, oh Phil, we got to talk. I'm Jim Cornette, by the way. You probably know that. Everybody else does, because I'm a worldwide celebrity, a pro wrestling legend, and a podcasting genius. But I am now coming to you on your telephone through the miracle of modern technology known as a cameo video message, courtesy, well, I can't call him your friend because you have none, but courtesy of one of your acquaintances named David. Now, I know, Phil, that you have multiple names in order to stay ahead of the authorities. You're also known as AKA DarkSydePhil, and sometimes, depending on what part of town you're in, you have other names. I know that some of the ladies of the evening say, "Hey, sport!" But nevertheless, you, from what David has been telling me, old DarkSydePhil, you got a lot of problems. You run some kind of confidence game, some kind of scheme, some kind of racket, some kind of pyramid scheme with these mobile games and this streaming and everything. You beg for money every day. You're constantly saying you're broke, but yet you spent $80,000 on a WWE mobile game. From what I'm told now, these are the things that people are saying about you, Phil. You once broadcast yourself online jacking it? Where were you, in San Diego? I'm gonna go out jacking it in San Diego. Jacking it, jack. Smacking it. Why are you spanking the monkey online, for heaven's sake? You know, children, dogs, cats, other people could see that and be horribly scarred for life, especially if they had binoculars so they could see your teeny tiny little... But anyway, I mentioned you don't have any friends, but you do often, from what I'm told, insult your fans. I think that was a misprint. I think it should have been you insult your fan, because there can only be one of them, because, I mean, look at you, Phil. And apparently, you make a lot of money streaming video games, demanding people give you money for the same thing, but yet I'm not sure how that's a service that's in any way valuable to the American public. So basically, I think you're cheating people out of money, and you're being an asshole while you do it, and you're also exposing your member all across the world via the internet. So I'm not going to say you shouldn't jack it, Phil, because after all, that's your only recourse since no other human beings, male, female, animal, vegetable, or mineral, will touch you in your nether regions. But don't broadcast it, because then all you're doing is showing people your shortcomings. Anyway, David says, get your shit together, DarkSydePhil, and I say, well, I really don't care what you do, because I'll never see you again, and I really don't give a shit. But otherwise than that, I hope you have a great day. Thank you, and bye-bye.
Despite all the lying and pleading, Phil's bankruptcy hearing ultimately worked in his favor, resulting in a debt discharge. However, even this major financial crisis and the massive backlash that followed failed to teach him any lessons about managing money. True to form, Phil continued soliciting donations, but this time through a vest streak.
I don't know where it was. It was right there in the closet. It was sitting right there in the closet. I was like, oh my God, I seriously haven't looked at that thing since I moved here. I've never worn this. It's in the closet. All right, now that's streamception right there. Me in the vest, watching me in the vest. In fact, I would almost say, me in this video from October 2011 really has triggered something in my audience. And thank you guys very much for all of your contributions and your support. 6 vest streak, ladies and gentlemen. All right, I want to say congratulations on reaching the 100 vest streak. It's hard to work to keep pushing on, even when trolls are saying this could not happen.
So what is a vest streak, and why did it catch up with the audience so much? During one of the streaming sessions, Phil jokingly put his old vest on, and fans persisted that he continues to do so during the streams. Phil later turned wearing a vest into a reward system, promising to don the vest only if his stream reached a $100 donation goal. He continued to do so for several days until the vest streak died down on day 276.
If there were tips coming, they all would have already happened, guys. That's it. The vest streak officially ended tonight. All right, guys.
Phil made a whopping $30,000 through the vest streak, so it was natural that he was deeply disappointed when it ended. However, detractors and trollers were interested in finding out where all this money was going. When a troller asked about the money, Phil conveniently said that he used it to pay back taxes and bills, while he himself discussed his plans of buying a PS5 at day 250 of the vest streak.
What happened to the vest streak money? It went to pay for stuff, genius. Bills, back taxes. Like, it paid for a tremendous amount of things around here. What do you think it did? Oh my God, I'm so dumb. Oh. Bills, back taxes.
It was evident at this point that he was heavily relying on Twitch for his livelihood, as his YouTube channels were inactive. Phil was making thousands of dollars in tips alone. But then Twitch unpartnered Phil out of the blue. It was later revealed by Twitch that Phil accidentally used a hateful slur during one of his streams, which led to the suspension of his account. While Twitch lifted the ban sometime later, the drama that happened in between is worth recalling.
Apparently, they kicked me out of the partnership program, and I don't know why.
One user and regular viewer of DSP, Piece of Peace, released an interesting document, a tip tracker spreadsheet that summarized the income of DSP through tips, YouTube ad revenue, and Patreons. This document was very thorough and detailed and could easily counter DSP's every claim about his finances. The document revealed that in 2021, tips made up almost 75% of DSP's total income. Even when Twitch lifted the suspension on his account, Phil was concerned about his lost tips. He repeatedly urged his viewers to donate more money, citing pressing financial obligations such as his mortgage, bills, and back taxes. He expressed doubt that Twitch may not release the funds he'd earned during the suspension. However, in the end, Twitch did pay out all the tips he had accrued while unpartnered. This spreadsheet was not the only thing that exposed Phil's finances. In 2021, detractors went a step further and somehow managed to acquire Phil's bank statements. They illegally committed identity theft to get hold of this information. When Phil's bank statements got leaked, there were tons of things that raised eyebrows. For instance, in the bank statements, there was one transaction that was repeated several times. These microtransactions, when accumulated, made up almost $44,000. A lot of these transactions were either $11, $110, or $16. People did some digging and found out that WWE Champions was offering gambling packages at the exact same prices. Even a fool could understand by this point that Phil was spending a large portion of the donations on gambling. Not only that, the bank statements showed he spent almost $250 in a single month on alcohol. Now it was a proven fact that DarkSydePhil was addicted to both gambling and alcohol. He was not smart enough to handle his finances, but was clever enough to fool his audience for years and receive thousands of dollars in tips and donations. A large portion of the money he made through tips was going to fulfill his mobile game addiction.
We got $186 on groceries for 2 people. We get PetSmart and a total of wine, the normal. But then the fun starts. This got DoorDash twice on the same day for $80. A day after spending $186 on groceries. And then over the course of a 2-day span, he does 13 microtransactions for $696. $700 on mobile games in 2 days. Oh, wait a minute. This could be for music. You're jumping to conclusions here. You never know. And then between July 26th and the 28th, he does 8 more microtransactions for $239. And by the way, there's another $190 at Fred Meyer's, 6 days after spending $186 there. There's $41 at IHOP on the 29th. He pays his back taxes, $750. And then there's a $30 stop payment charge. I don't know what the that's for. We move into August and there's $205 more at Fred Meyer, 7 days after spending $190. And maybe this is why he likes saying he has a family all the time, because he knows how much he spends on groceries every 7 days. This is ridiculous, man. There's only a couple of microtransactions here. $38, $92, $82, $73 on one order for DoorDash, $42 at Sherry's Cafe and Pies, and let's keep going because I got something to say about that in a minute. And then $39 on DoorDash again a few days later. So this brings us to August 10th. Remember, he held that fundraiser on August 14th, so we're getting very close. And this must have been his day off. Fred Meyer, Petco, Target, Total Wine, and then a couple of days later, he has to pay for his 2 internet lines. He is paying $368 a month for internet. Is she running her own stream in the next room? What do you need that much internet for? And he complains and about lag all the time anyways. You can't be this dumb, man, come on. But here's the one that really gets to me. 2 days before he does that fundraiser, and go back and listen to the clip if you need to, he didn't even hit the halfway point. And he says it's not the end of the world. And remember, he was trashing that person. You see the world in black and white. Why are you questioning me about this fundraiser? I needed to do this to see if I can pay my bills. Meanwhile, 2 days before that fundraiser,
the same Phil who made a 2-hour-long video debunking his slanderers was silent about this fiasco, partly because he knew there was no point justifying his actions. It was not only his bank statement that solidified people's suspicion about his gambling addiction. In 2022, during a pre-stream, he accidentally left his phone on the desk, revealing the WWE Champions menu screen, the same game that he said he doesn't play anymore.
Well, hello everyone and welcome to the Daily Wrap. If you're wondering what's going on, Jasper has once again stolen my seat. So I decided I would do the video like this and you could watch him sit here and steal my seat. Oh, Jasper, he's attacking me viciously. Jasper, I'm trying to pet you. You don't have to fight me, you don't have to move. It's okay. I'm doing the Daily Wrap. Today was Saturday, the 23rd of July, 2022.
By this time, people were so bored of his lies that they knew there was no point confronting him regarding anything. For the rest of 2022, he did not do anything out of character and continued with his usual shenanigans, such as e-begging, snorting, getting trolled for his poor gameplay, and indulging in unnecessary online arguments. However, in 2023, he decided to do an interview with a YouTube channel named Side Scrollers. The podcast carried on for almost 5 hours. But the most interesting thing happened when the interviewers asked Phil about his WWE champions. His hesitation and nervousness upon this question was very evident, and then he tried to address the situation very stupidly. According to the mastermind Phil, some detractors got hold of his account and made those microtransactions to frame him. People were so convinced of his guilt by this point that this outright lie just amused them even more.
Have you spent a lot of money on this game?
Good question. What does a lot mean?
Anything over $100 is too much on a mobile game. So
probably when the game first came out, yes, I spent over $100 on it. That was 2017 when it first came out. Trust me, I'm versed on this game now for all the wrong reasons. So yes, in the first year.
Wait, did you just flex on how good you are at the game?
No. I said I'm versed in the game because I have to know about it because they're freaking put me in conspiracies about it. It's ridiculous.
Okay,
I don't want to know about it.
Then,
how much money have you spent in this game? Do you mind saying?
Total, I couldn't tell you. It's definitely total under $1,000 over the years that it's been in operation for sure.
Okay, not over $1,000.
No,
because that's not what people think.
That's correct.
I know. That you're some sort of a whale in that game.
Oh, I know. I've seen every. I haven't seen every video. I've heard it all. First, it was like thousands, then it was 10,000, then it was 20, then it was 40. Now it's 100, I think. 100,000 supposedly I've spent on this game.
Well, we started talking about it, and you instantly went into just attacking other people. Like, we don't have to, like, your detractors. Like, they may deserve it. I don't know, but we can have this conversation without even bringing them up.
Sure.
Right? We'll bring them up if they're you're saying you're instantly going to they're making up, but you do play this game. You have spent money on it.
Another entertaining part of the podcast was when the interviewers invited Keemstar into the chat. To give you a little background, Keemstar did a roast video on DarkSydePhil some years prior. But that is not it. He also wanted to launch a podcast on Lolcows and offered Phil a whopping $50,000 to appear on the show. However, according to Keemstar, Phil did not respond to his emails, and that is why he was dropped from the show.
What do you think it would take to get DarkSydePhil in a ring?
I don't know.
And would you do it? What would it take? I don't know. Like, what's the line that you would cross to get DSP in a boxing ring?
The thing is I actually understand the value of Boogie 2988, and I understand the value of Wings of Redemption, and I understand the value of DarkSydePhil. I do. They have value. They absolutely have value, but it's not being used the right way. Like this boxing match was a perfect example of, look, they're Lolcows, we'll throw them in a ring, and now like everyone's entertained, they love it, and they love them for doing it, right? But he doesn't trust me. So I don't know. If I'm offering you $50,000 and you can't get on the phone call, right? You can't just communicate with me. I don't know what it would take. It would be near impossible. That's part of the reason why I'm trying to figure this guy out and go through and do this documentary on him, is because I want to know who this guy is, because I really don't know. He's a liar. He lies about so much stuff.
Keemstar pointed out that just 2 days after their exchange, Phil did a live stream asking for donations to cover his bills. Despite receiving a $50,000 offer, Phil chose to continue his pattern of e-begging. Accepting the offer would have undermined his narrative of financial desperation. By this point, it seemed Phil had grown comfortable with this approach, having relied on it for years to sustain his lifestyle. After publishing the podcast, Side Scrollers created another video discussing the key pointers of this interview. In response, Phil also released a video claiming that Side Scrollers backstabbed him. We discussed Phil's life in detail. It is evident that he is a pathological liar, a subpar gamer, and a manipulator. Yet the question remains, why do people continue to invest in him? Despite a significant decline in his donations over the years, Phil still receives thousands of dollars from his audience. Why? The answer lies in his nearly 15-year presence on YouTube, during which he has cultivated a dedicated fan base. Many of these fans remain oblivious to, or willfully ignore, his lies and manipulative tactics. Some donate out of pity, while others genuinely feel a connection to him after years of following his content. It's astonishing to think that Phil, now in his 40s, has never held a traditional job. He remained consistent with his content to the point that even huge crises like breakups, bankruptcy, and severe trolling could not distract him from what he was doing. His resilience, combined with his penchant for stirring controversy, sets him apart from other internet lolcows. Phil's notoriety doesn't stem from committing serious offenses, but rather from a legacy built on fabricated stories, incessant e-begging, and endless drama. So what do you think about the King of Hate? Do you think brutal trolling shaped him into this character? Or did he rightfully deserve all the hate? If you've stuck this far into the video, please leave a comment down below and let us know how you liked it. We tried to cover almost every aspect of DSP's untrackable story, but if we left anything out, feel free to comment down below and let us know.